Yeah, I think we're going to talk some options today.
Love it.
We want to put those slides up. I think we've got some information on the NQ and MNQ options. And I think before we get into it, it's probably worth pointing out, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think we were using the S&P at that time. But for both the Micro S&P and the Micro NASDAQ options, we've gone to financially settled options. So instead of deliverable if you're in the money, both the Micro NASDAQ and the Micro S&P financially settle, which I think is attractive to a lot of individual traders because you don't have to worry about that pin risk as much. You don't have to worry about if you're in a spread, one leg getting assigned or exercised and the other not. So I think it's a pretty positive change, both for the brokers, I think, for firms like Tasty as well as for the traders. And the other thing I think worth mentioning is that, and I've talked about this on the show before, a lot of people trade like 0DT, SPX, or spiders or QQQ options. They don't realize that they can get essentially the same option exposure using the ES or the NQ options that they're getting in those securities markets. If it's the SPX or spider, it's the S&P 500, just like the E-mini S&P. And then if they're trading like Q options, that's the NASDAQ 100, which is just, that's the NQ futures option. So I think it's worth pointing out that these exist. And then, the margining sometimes works in people's favor
for sure
with the futures options.
Yeah, for sure. Especially these micros. Yeah. I mean, I haven't traded. The only times I trade SPY and Qs and things like that now are honestly when the market is like really down big and there's big volatility and those are high in volatility. It's like my last go-to. It's like, all right, I've sold everything else. Now I'm going to sell.
What else can you sell?
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of how it is.
Yeah. But like, if you just want to run through the Iron Condor real quick.
Yeah,
and the reason I think it's nice to do that is because it kind of underscores the fact that these options work the same way, whether it's on a future like an Iron Condor is an Iron Condor, whether you're doing it on the NQ, the NASDAQ future, or the QQQ, the Iron Condor works the same way.
I mean, it's just it's simple way of sort of taking a non-directional play, right? I would say when you're selling, of course, if you're buying, you do want it to move, right? But you're combining two spreads. Call spread and a put spread, however you want to do it, whether you want to sell both call spread and put spread and you don't want it to move, or whether you want to buy both the call spread and put spread and hope that it does move and one of those wind up in the money. So
that's exactly it. And I think it's for individual traders, it's also a way to put on a defined risk trade, right? So at execution how much you can make or lose on that trade. At the end of the day, it's just buying a call spread, buying a put spread, or selling both of them.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, pretty straightforward. And I think it's a good trade for a lot of people who have yet to trade. It's a good way to figure out how risk works, whether you want to sell it. And usually it's defined risk. And you can make them as small as $5 wide, and in some cases $1 wide if you really want to. But just understanding, I'm selling this call spread. What does that mean? I'm selling this put spread. What does that mean? Or vice versa. I'm buying this call spread. I'm buying this put spread. What do my break evens look like? I think they're good for helping other people understand that.
Right. And we were just talking about the micros, but it's worth pointing out, obviously, that we have options on the E-mini NASDAQ future as well. And, when you contemplate one of these spreads that is defined risk, it makes, even though that's a big contract, even though that mini NASDAQ is a big contract, when you talk about these risk defined strategies, it really makes that more approachable, I think, for individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like it works in the securities market. So a lot of people are used to trading these strategies, whether it's an Iron Condor or a call spread or a put spread, and they work the same way in options on futures.
Yeah. So, I mean, in this case, we're selling a Iron Condor here. And again, they're $100 wide. So now you can see the difference in between, collecting $26. And again, it's 20 times, right? It's like 20 times on this. That's how you get this max profit here. And that's how you see what you can see your max profit here of $500. That's what you're collecting overall, $525. And then your max loss obviously is the difference between those strikes. In that case, 100 times the 20 gets you 2,000. So that's how you get that's how you sort of see your risk. And again, in this situation, you're just saying, I don't want this thing to move. I want to stay between these strikes. This orange bar is the expected move. So this is the expected move over 24 days. Now, this is based on everything we know right now. Again, we don't know how NVIDIA earnings are going to play out. We have no idea how this Jackson Hole situation is going to play out in interest rates, which are going to affect tech stocks. So it's something to keep in mind, but always nice to know your risk.
Exactly. And I think it's great that you pointed out that 20 multiplier, because that is kind of the one thing that if you're used to trading securities options, you're just used to multiplying what you see on the screen in your head by 100, right? It's kind of instinctive. You just know it's on 100 shares. That's where futures options do differ, and you just have to know those multipliers, right? So in the E-mini NASDAQ, it's a 20, just like you said. In the E-mini S&P, that's 50. And then in the micro, it's 2 and then 5.
Yep.
Right. So it's not, those numbers could look really big to someone if they instinctively tried to multiply them by 100 to get the dollar amount. So you just have to know those multipliers.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like vol's high, obviously in NVIDIA, but also kind of across the NASDAQ options, right? Because of NVIDIA.
And then again, you can flip this thing. Again, we were showing a short iron condor, but you could flip this thing. Say you're like, I don't feel comfortable selling that thing. Well, sure. If you want to put up $1,400, if you want to put up $500 to potentially make 1,400, sure. But then you just need a bigger move. And again, you need the move through your break evens here and to get an idea what it looks like. Again, you want, in that situation, just think about it. You're buying a call spread, you're buying a put spread. And so you want the move to exceed what you paid for this thing. And again, that's your potential profit if it exceeds through those strikes, but
right.
You know how that goes.
Yep.
You need catalyst for that. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Very good.
Yeah. Great talking about, always love having you here talking about a lot of the CME products. We trade them so much. So it's just a natural fit.
Love being here too.
Good to see you, man.